Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Today in Titletown Packers podcast. My name is Griffin. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at AllDayPackers, and I'm joined by Bron, who you can follow on Instagram at Lambo.Leapers. We're coming back to you with another episode of the podcast. A lot to unpack today. This has been one of the most dramatic weeks that I can remember in NFL. Being a fan of the NFL, we beat the Cardinals. Haven't had a podcast since we beat the Cardinals. Play the Chiefs this Sunday. We're going to preview that game, talk about the Cardinals game, but most importantly, we will not have QB1 for the Chiefs game because of a lot of reasons, honestly. Bron, how are you? How are you dealing with all that's going on this week?
Pretty stressful day learning about Rodgers and him being ruled out. That was not fun after a big win on Thursday. But here we are. We're going to talk about every little second of what's been going on and all the drama. So if you're into soap operas, welcome to the Today in Titletown soap opera.
We were prepared to talk about a lot of different stuff than we're actually going to talk about today because all of it is kind of outdated at this point. So, I mean, just this is kind of off the cuff here, Bron. How did you process today's information? I'll tell you, I'll go first. So I'm sitting on my bed, I'm watching a movie, and I go to sit up, I check my phone, and I literally like 21 seconds ago, Ian Rappaport, Rodgers has COVID, he's going to be out this weekend. I'm like, oh my God, it just keeps getting worse, man. This just keeps getting worse. LaFleur, I feel so bad for the guy. It's his birthday. This sucks. And then, I don't know, is it 10 minutes later, the report that he's unvaccinated comes out? I'm like, I tweeted this. I was like, there's no way this is true. There's no way this is true because he's been doing press conferences with no mask and in person. And he said this summer that he was vaccinated. I did not believe Rappaport. I mean, I just assumed it was false information. And then it only got worse from there. Take me through your day, Bron.
Yeah, I mean, so I literally watched the notification come down on my phone. I was on my phone and I watched it come down and I read Aaron Rodgers out COVID, like from Tom Pelissero, I think was the first one. And yeah, I just kind of exploded and it just still, I couldn't believe it. I was like, did that really just happen? Like, I'm sitting here looking at it and I'm like, did this really, like, I was like, we're all hoping, first of all, thought Rodgers was vaccinated. We'll get into all that, but so I'm thinking, wait a minute. Okay, he's vaccinated. How did he get it? Like, I know Devontae was vaccinated and he tested positive, but they just ruled him out. And I thought he was vaccinated, and it's only Tuesday or whatever. What is it? Wednesday? I don't even care. And I don't know. But like all this is going on, and I have so many thoughts are racing through my mind. First of all, Jordan Love put up or shut up time. I'm thinking right away, and there's a positive element to that, but the chance that I first thought of, yes, Rodgers' health and everything, but then I started thinking about, okay, well, this is massive because if we are now in a position where we could lose this football game on when we think we have Rodgers, we're going to win. Now we have Jordan Love starting, and now all of a sudden this is not going to be an easy win, and we need to win games because Dallas has a really easy schedule. They're also, they're 6-1. Like they're a legit threat. And these other teams, the Rams are 7-1. The Cardinals are still 7-1. That win won't matter if we can't, continue to stack wins. And we need every game we can get. We need to keep winning. This is about getting the number one seed. We need to get back to the Super Bowl. All these things have to go the right way for us, and we have to keep doing the right thing. But this has a chance. And then, I'm not going to sit around pointing the finger at anybody, but the COVID situation that's gone on across the entire team, no one's really to blame per se, but I mean, it's given us a pretty good chance to derail the season. I mean, there's a great opportunity for the season to be derailed in some fashion as a result of what's gone on now with the COVID-19, plus the injuries that we've already had, on top of that. Uh, just a poor situation for the entire team, and now it puts a lot of what we're trying to do this season in jeopardy because Aaron Rodgers makes this whole thing go, and if Jordan Love can't step in and kind of fill his shoes even halfway, I mean, if he can't perform, it's going to be tough to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, who still have, it's Patrick Mahomes. They still, you never know when they're going to try to turn it on and what can happen. And then, of course, Seattle, it looks like Russ might be back that next week. And if Rodgers can't play in that game, and obviously that's a whole different situation as well. So it's getting complicated pretty quick.
In terms of on the field, I was honestly pretty excited because I still am. I still am pretty excited for this. Not if Rodgers misses more than just this game, but I'm thinking, okay, this is nice. This kind of stuff happens, It's still early in the season. It's very important now that we got that win last week over the Cardinals. I think it's going to be okay that we get to see Jordan Love against a bad defense. He could look good. This could be a good game for his development in the league. This could be like a really, and then if he's like really good, Bears, Vikings, and Lions fans, they're going to be very upset. I'm going to be happy. We got the quarterback of the future at the very worst if he performs well. But quickly, as in more information began to come in, it just soured everything. My whole outlook on this team, man. Because I mean, QB1. I I guess we're gonna talk about this. He lied. He lied about being vaccinated, which I mean, everyone's got so many stances on everything, but the fact that he lied about being vaccinated, just be if he's an anti-vaxxer, he can just come out as an anti-vaxxer. But I don't think he is an anti-vaxxer, and I don't think he is a COVID denier. I guess he is an anti-vaxxer, but like, what is going through his brain where whatever holistic treatment that he got in his own mind immunized him from COVID? I mean, are you serious, dude? And they ask him point blank, "Are you vaccinated?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm immunized." Oh my God, Aaron. I mean, come
Okay,
on, dude. We've been clowning on Kirk Cousins all year,
right.
dude. We've been clowning
I
on
was
him
just gonna
all
say.
year.
Yeah, I mean,
And
okay, so the situation with Kirk Cousins, right? Like that, people were really coming at him because just not only because he wasn't vaccinated, but because he was like pretty much, the things he was saying was kind of ridiculous. Rodgers never said things like completely ridiculous, but what he said was, I mean, first of all, yes, he was asked straight up, "Are you vaccinated? And if so, what or whatever? What are your stance? What is your stance on vaccinations?" And Rodgers said, "Yeah, I'm immunized." And I remember at the time thinking that was such a interesting word to use, and I was like, I just thought, wow, that's an interesting. I thought that meant he was vaccinated. As soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, okay, great, he's vaccinated. That means we won't have any issues. Like that was all I was worried about. Not, you know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and try to like talk about vaccines, like, but it was just good to
I
hear
was
that we
okay,
weren't going to have
real
any
quick.
issues.
Yeah, I was worried when he came back to the team. I was worried because he seemed the type to not be vaccinated, and I had already been making fun of Cole Beasley and Kirk Cousins and all these guys. I was like, "Oh my God, he seems the type to just not be vaccinated." And I just, as soon as I saw the word immunized, I was like, "Oh my God, thank you Jesus, thank God he's vaccinated." It means so much for the team and obviously my outlook on Aaron Rodgers, the human being.
Right, and then so he I thought he was vaccinated, okay? And but then I'm thinking about when he said the word immunized, I was like, okay, that's I wasn't like skeptical of his at the time. I was just like surprised at the word. I thought he just put that word. I was like, okay, vocabulary. He's trying to show off his vocabulary, like, which he
Nice
has a great
flex, bro.
vocabulary. I was like, okay, he's got yeah, I've been immunized. I was like, oh wow, okay. Like, why would you use that word when you got the shot? I don't know, but like whatever.
Yeah.
So that was part of it too. And then he started talking about like he really did. He misled everybody. I mean, he never said like, yeah, I've been vaccinated, but he did say words that very much made it sound like he was, and we all thought he was. And he was saying things like, I'm not going to judge people who aren't vaccinated. It's a personal choice. And he made it sound like he made the decision to get vaccinated, but wasn't going to judge others for getting it. He also added that people have been testing positive who did get vaccinated, and he said all these things. I don't know. It just was. It sounded. I don't know. It just sucks.
he
It
he
really
wanted
sucks that he
everyone
isn't.
he wanted everyone to believe that he was vaccinated because he didn't want to come out as an
I
anti-vaxxer.
guess okay, so I
It's
understand that. Honestly, look, I don't think any like I'm vaccinated, right? But I don't really like care to tell like I don't know if he should have he shouldn't have to tell us if he's vaccinated or not. I don't think any player should, like whether they are or not. I just don't think they should. But like I don't know. He gets asked the question. I don't, I see why he doesn't want to come out and say he's not vaccinated because if he doesn't get if he doesn't get COVID, right? If this not none of this ever happens, everybody thinks he's at least he says he's immunized, right? He got some kind of treatment that he wanted to be, equated to something that could be seen as enough, and he tried to get the NFL to pass it, and they didn't. But he did it anyway. Didn't get the vaccine. He's been pretty much doing a lot. He's been following protocols in the locker room and in the building with masks and things like that. But like Kirk Cousins has and other guys like Carson Wentz, he was at the podium without a mask answering questions this season. So, I mean, it seems like the quarterbacks have some kind of leniency with that, being able to go to the podium without the mask. But other than that, it sounds like he's been following other protocols. But so look, he's done all the right things. I feel like he just didn't want his status outed because of the hatred that most of these guys like Kirk Cousins and Cole Beasley have been getting. He didn't want that. I get it. It sucks. I hate the whole situation. There's no right way to go about it. I mean, the fact that he kind of got caught misleading everybody. I hate it for the team. I hate it for him. I hate that he caught COVID. I wish he was vaccinated because now he's in jeopardy of not only missing a big game against Kansas City. We don't get to see him and Mahomes square off. And then now also this game against Seattle is also in jeopardy, which sucks as well. I mean, this is a really tough situation for the fans, the team, the organization, and the player, of course.
Exactly. Take whatever social or political aspects of the vaccine out of the picture. This is just an awful, idiotic decision by Aaron Rodgers as the leader of this team, as the QB1 of the team. Same with Kirk Cousins and same with Carson Wentz. Because now, whatever Brazilian tree oil or whatever he ingested, it didn't work because he now has COVID and he's out for 10 days. And he could cost his team a game. This is the last dance, dude. This is the last dance, and you're not going to get a shot because
I
of
don't buy that, but yeah.
whatever reason.
I don't buy that
What
it's
you
the
know by
last
this is
dance.
the
He's
okay, yeah.
coming back. Well,
I
I don't
mean,
know.
in
Things
his
have gotten
mind,
complicated. Well, I don't know. The way he's talking, it sounds like he talked about Brian on Tuesday. He's having great conversation with Brian. He loves the conversation he's having with Brian. I don't think if it's his choice, I don't think he's going anywhere. So I don't know. Yes, this is one of the last great chances to win the Super Bowl because they're going to lose guys in free agency and stuff, and they have no money, and I get that. So I think there's certainly an element of that. But yeah, I know what you're saying, Griff. Keep going because you are right for the most part.
yeah. Well, the last dance, I guess, could depend on Jordan Love's performance on Sunday. If he has a
That's
great
the
game,
crazy thing, right?
it could
Crazy
like
thing.
Goody could really force his hand here. And it's just God, that's what the worst thing about the Kirk Cousins thing was. It was so fun laughing at Vikings fans, especially after Rodgers came out and said that he was vaccinated. It was like, thank God I can do this and not be a hypocrite because your QB1 is a horrible leader and his coach hates him and he's gonna lose his team some games if there's a COVID outbreak. And what do you know? Now our quarterback, the face of the franchise, Aaron Rodgers, is gonna like it doesn't matter whatever your beliefs on the vaccine are. The NFL rules are that if you're vaccinated, your team is at a greater advantage than if you have players who are unvaccinated, especially your quarterback who communicates with so many people. And they just had this Halloween party over the weekend. Oh my God, the Halloween party. Who else? Jordan Love was there. He could have COVID. And then we're starting Blake Bortles. I mean, come on, man. You can't be going out dressed. The costume was awesome, bro, but you can't be doing that when you know there's a COVID outbreak in the building. Devontae wasn't there because he already had COVID, and he's still not back at practice, so who knows how sick he is. And you can't be doing these stupid crap. And I don't even think you're allowed to have that kind of indoor party like that. I mean, unless there was less than 10 people there, which I highly doubt. It's just an all around. It's a shit show, man. All day. It's just been awful.
Well, there were definitely more than 10 people there because one of the people there was Tyler Davis, and I know he's not on that short list. So I think pretty much the whole team was there. They were letting
Yeah, that was
anybody
not
in
the
that thing.
Roger.
I think they were letting
D.
anybody in
Lowry
that
was
party.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, they let
that was
anybody in. And that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Yeah, a little irresponsible. But Rogers probably thought, like, okay, I'm labeled as unvaccinated. Who cares? I just got this treatment that I think, and many have been, telling me, like, about his his fiance, and we saw the stuff where she was like doing
eating clay,
interesting. Yep, that was it. I didn't want to
dirt
say it. Yeah,
capsules.
yeah.
I don't think
Look,
she wears
well,
deodorant. She's a weird girl, man. But so is
okay, well,
Aaron.
well,
Aaron's
all right.
always been weird.
Well, they're just different, okay? They've got
They're
different. I
they're
mean, I'm
both
not. Let's
weird
not make.
though.
Okay. Let's not call them weird. People are different. Look, all I know is that they do exotic things like with their bodies, and Rogers does all these different cleanses, and he's done all this different stuff, like spiritual. Like I don't know what he's doing nowadays, like with some of these things, and it was clearly he thought in his best interest to try something different that he thought was going to work. And it turns out, obviously, he got COVID. Well, also Devontae tested positive and he was vaccinated. The only difference is I mean, look, you can test positive and get the vaccine. Rodgers didn't get the vaccine. He was labeled as unvaccinated. He thought he was immune. Now he has the virus. I don't know if he's what's his symptoms like or if he has any because like I said, he looked good on Tuesday on the Pat McAfee show. He looked healthy. He seemed fine. He had no inklings of being ill. um, I don't know. Maybe it's a similar thing where, like, I'm not going to sit here and say whatever he did worked because he clearly got the virus. But uh, guys are getting it. Devontae got it, and he's vaccinated. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that either thing is 100% certain to do anything. It just sucks that it happened. I don't know how else to really put it. It just sucks that the way it went, where now he's positive, and because the NFL doesn't recognize him as immune or vaccinated or whatever you want to call it, now we're in this situation where it's costing us wins potentially. Hopefully not. Hopefully Love can step up and win us a game playing quarterback or just manage he's not going to win the game, but he can certainly get us there by just playing, just not turning the ball over really is the key. We'll talk about that game because that's basically the only thing I'm worried about. But yeah, it just sucks and now we're trying to win a Super Bowl. Our best chance yet, and maybe our last best chance. This one, and it's going to be tough because if we lose a game, if we lose two games, we have to come out of here unscathed. Then all is forgotten. Wash your hands of it and get back on the field, Aaron. If we can win these games, let's just do it. And let's just forget all of this and just get back because this could derail us. Like I said, if we lose one, two games from this, it could derail our whole season and it could ruin our playoff positioning and a lot of other things as well. And it could sour with the front office, and that could be a thing as well where Rodgers and the front office are in bad terms again. So just all this stuff, we need to get back on track. We need to win this game in spite of not having Aaron. We need Love to step up, and then we need to get back. Rodgers has to come back and do his thing, and we got to get rid of this COVID outbreak as fast as possible.
Can we blame Matt Nagy? Because it kind of seems like it may have stemmed from the Bears game. It started with Joe Barry, but I think he and Nagy both tested positive the same day, along with Devontae. And it was the week after we played them. I just want to blame Matt Nagy. I'm just going to blame him for all of this. We wouldn't have never known that Rodgers was unvaxxed. We would have had Devontae and Lazard for last week, and Rodgers would be playing this Sunday. Let's just blame Matt Nagy. That seems like the easiest route, right?
Always works for me. He's the worst coach in football, as I've said often. So, yeah, we could blame him for a lot of things. We could also blame him for many of our division wins.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Justin Fields looks a lot better on Sunday. It's weird, right? Anyways, I feel bad for Matt LaFleur the most. This poor guy, man. It's his 42nd birthday. He's digging in the fountain of youth, and on his birthday, man, this crap has to come up. Rodgers was supposed to speak today, and he didn't, obviously, because he has COVID. And LaFleur had to take all the questions. The national media, they were all there. It was airing on NFL Network. You know it's big when NFL Network is putting it on TV. It's everyone. Rodgers was number one on trending on Twitter today, like pretty much all day. That never happens. It's so weird. And poor LaFleur, he couldn't even enjoy his birthday, but he handled it like a pro. And I guarantee, man, I have so much faith in him as a head coach, especially after last Thursday, which feels like a year ago. But I have so much trust in him that he's going to go into this Sunday with such a good game plan for Love. Just let him manage the hell out of the game. And I think it's going to come out. I think it's going to be a good game for the Packers. And Matt LaFleur, he should definitely be in the Coach of the Year discussion, given all the bullshit that has happened this season, this summer, the Jeopardy. It's so much that he's had to endure. And
The
we're
Jeopardy.
7-1, man.
Jeopardy?
Well, the leaving for
Oh,
Jeopardy, that talk.
oh, wait. Well, I thought you meant who
You
wanted to
thought I
kick
meant
that
the.
field goal. The thing
Oh,
with
oh
I thought that's
no,
what you meant.
no, no.
I don't think the
That was
Jeopardy
funny though.
itself had anything. Yeah, that just kind of ragged on Matt LaFleur, like that whole thing. But well,
Yeah.
you know what? From in terms of Matt LaFleur, he's like you said, he's a true pro, right? I think he is. He's so great. I just love him as a head coach. He's such a great, just a great. He's such a great communicator with the players, and he relates to the players, and he's got a great coaching staff, and he's got his guys in order. And I feel like he's got a voice on the team and in the front office. He's so valued, I think, as a voice. Um, I did want to say though, like the summer, he had to go, he was in the worst spot of everybody in the summer because Rodgers was kind of like toying with, hey, whether he was going to come back or not, and Matt LaFleur is kind of like hoping and really, really wanting him to come back, but he can't really do anything because he's kind of the middleman between Rodgers and the front office, and he's got to kind of play at both sides, and he's not trying to see his MVP quarterback walk out the door, but he's also not trying to upset the front office, and he wants the front office to fix this, and like it's creating tension across everywhere in the organization. Um, so that sucked for him, and now this. Same kind of situation. He can't do anything about it. It's not, he can't make Rodgers get the vaccine. He's not responsible for getting him COVID. Halloween party, probably not his favorite thing. Uh, and now he's got to kind of clean up the mess that was made for the second week in a row with the injuries and COVIDs and whatever else is going on, right? So he's been great. First of all, he's the coach of the year to me. Who else? We're the best team in football. He's endured pretty much everything you could think of. If we win this game against Kansas City on Sunday, I mean, he just give him the award already because not that it matters, just let's win a Super Bowl. But like, I think he deserves some recognition for once. Finally, he's been
Well,
amazing.
he should have been recognized for the past 2 seasons, but given that Rodgers is not playing at an MVP level this season, and he's going to miss this game, and he's like the clown of the internet today, I think he'll definitely be in consideration because in 2019 Rodgers wasn't great either, but it was viewed as like people just look at the 13-3 record and assume that Rodgers is back to playing the way he was. He wasn't really, but he did play better. And obviously last year Rodgers wins the MVP. This year he's not in the MVP conversation. He's gonna miss a game. He's lost faith with pretty much everyone in the NFL. His good faith. I think this is definitely the year that people are going to recognize the fact that LaFleur has had to put up with so much.
Yeah, he's been great. Obviously, doing everything he can to kind of overcome the injuries and now the COVID stuff that's gone on these past couple weeks. Not having the defensive coordinator, and having the play calling go through two different guys, then to Devondre Campbell, and having that working. I just feel like he's got everything in order. Like, and his contingency plans for everything have been great. The only thing that he struggled with has really been on the field, and that's kind of like the goal line stuff, which he has never been truly amazing at. It's just been not good this year, and last week we saw a lot of struggles there, and really all season it just hasn't been great. But everything off the field, the only criticism I have of him off the field is that he says little to nothing in his answers at the podium. He rarely gives
I know
any
that bugs the
actual
hell out of you.
information. I mean, it bothers me because I like to hear, like, Mike McCarthy would give more. Brian Gutekunst gives
And
a
he
good
hardly
amount.
gave anything.
Yeah,
That's a
Mike gave
low bar.
nothing. Mike barely gave anything. I feel like Brian gives pretty
Well,
decent
it's like anything,
answers.
Braun.
Yeah, well, it's like anything, as Mike McCarthy would say. And Brian Gutekunst, he's gotten good at the podium, but he comes on so rarely. Matt LaFleur either answers in really short answers and says nothing, or answers in really long answers and also says nothing. So it's just a lot of
How about
nothing.
Murphy? How do you
Murphy's
like
pretty
Murphy?
direct. He says whatever comes to his mind.
He's
But
like the worst guy.
yeah, he's the one guy you don't want speaking. Like, yeah, oh, our quarterback, oh, he's a diva. Like, he just says like stuff like that randomly.
He's a
It's like,
complicated fella. He's
yeah,
he's
he's a
not built for the
complicated guy.
microphone.
No,
Yeah.
he's built for Titletown,
Like
but
the
yeah.
complicated fella comment, like he probably didn't even mean that to be rude, but you have to know as the president
No,
of the
he didn't
Packers
know.
when your quarterback is in retreat and saying he's not coming back to the team, you have to know that saying something like that is gonna be the headline of every single news publisher for the next week. And it was. Like he's just he's such a goofball, that Mark Murphy, man.
Yeah, well, yeah. And anything else on the Packers front office we want to rag on them at all anymore? I mean, this is
No.
yeah. This is the crazy. I mean, it's created all this drama, and we're sitting here talking about all these different characters of the team, and it's like just so much. I don't even know what to think now. We just came off the biggest win of the season, one of the biggest regular season wins, maybe the biggest in the Matt LaFleur era, right? And we're sitting here talking about our quarterback not being on the field for another huge game against a usually good team that's been off their track this year. But every game is a big game now. It's winning time. We have to win. It's week 9 coming up here. I mean, it's time to win games. Like, we have to start doing this. The bye week can't come soon enough. That's week 13. But until then, I mean, by the time that rolls around, we'll probably be mostly healthy, and all this for naught. But we're sitting here now. COVID. Isaac Yiadom went on the thing. I mean, Kurt Benkurt's not available, so we signed Blake Bortles, and he was here in the summer when Rodgers was out of town, and now Rodgers is on the COVID list, and it's Jordan Love starting, and it's a whole crazy thing.
Benkert started this like 2 days ago. He tweeted that he had COVID and some Call of Duty, whatever. I don't care. And everyone's like, "Oh, hope he hasn't been around Rodgers." And then today, obviously, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, this guy Benkert, bro. Oh my god, tweeting about Call of Duty and his stupid little GIF. Wow. Now our QB1 is out too. I don't know how Love. I don't know. Maybe he tested negative today, right? Otherwise, he would have been on the report. So I think he's hopefully in the clear, unless I don't know. We'll see. We'll see this upcoming week because I Blake Bortles starting literally takes all the excitement that I have away
We
from the
will
game. I
not win that football game if
Yeah,
Blake
no,
Bortles is the quarterback.
that is just not happening.
I'd almost
I
rather
might have
I'd almost rather see Randall Cobb start at quarterback than
that would be
Blake.
fun, right? I was
At
thinking
least
about that
that'd be
today. That would be
something.
fun.
Yeah, that would
That
be
was like
fun.
last year. I watched the Kendall Hilton game. I watched every snap of it. I was so intrigued. I wanted to see what the Broncos, what they would put out there, and he was bad. And what do you know? I want to see Randall Cobb. I always used to root for that when I was younger. Like I knew Cobb was the emergency quarterback with McCarthy. I would always, not hope for Rodgers to get hurt, but I just wanted to see what would happen if Rodgers had or Cobb had to go under center. That would still be really fun. Randall Cobb. I wonder if he can throw it still.
Probably, but if Blake Bortles starts, might as well not even turn the game on because it will be rocky. It will not be fun. But the same thing, I don't know. Can Jordan Love? This Chiefs defense is bad, right? It's very very bad. But at the same time, Jordan Love looked very shaky at times in the preseason. But then there was other times where he looked like he could command it a little bit. And like, okay, that was against backups, so it's difficult to say. Now he's gonna have to come in and he's gonna have to do this at a high level. He's gonna have to not turn the ball over and he seems to, he'll turn it over. I mean, he did it a lot in college, and we saw some shades of like some disgusting turnovers in preseason, really bad throws. Like, this is going to be a big game, like for him and his future with the team. Like, if he sucks in this game, like, what are they going to do? Move on from Rod? Like if Jordan Love gets one shot this year, he gets one shot and he plays like a touchdown and two picks and like 150 yards and like we lose or even if we win and he like you know what I mean like if he makes mistakes and stuff like it could be like we just have to how do they move on from Rodgers with a guy that what we've seen has been not great. How do they do that? They won't. That's what I'm saying. It's like Jordan Love this is really a big game for everybody. It's a big game for Rodgers and he's not even playing.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna feel the pressure at all, but this is also like if he plays well, this is a huge game because if Rodgers even wants to come back to the team in the spring, it might be up to Goody to say no, we're gonna roll with Love, similar to 2008 with Favre and Rodgers. Yeah, but the Chiefs' defense, it's like really bad, dude. They are just awful. So if Daniel Jones can look at least a little bit okay, I think Jordan Love, having sat for an entire year behind one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of football, I think he should fare well. And if he doesn't, because in the preseason, man, he made some plays which you see on Twitter all day long, and you're going to see for the rest of the week. But he had a lot of other, a lot of other head scratching plays that were like, man, you're playing against backup defenses. You can't be doing this. I mean, it's also the conversation he didn't have any starters along the offensive line or playing receiver for him. He was playing with Devin Funchess. Remember Devin Funchess? Wow, that feels like a long time ago. So
Yeah.
it's we're gonna see, man. I think LaFleur is gonna give him like pretty much the same game plan that we had against the Cardinals with no receivers and just run heavy attack RPOs. I don't know if you're gonna give Love the RPOs though, because that's a lot of pre-snap work and a lot of reads that Love maybe just isn't ready to make. So maybe he just gives him a lot of run heavy stuff and some play action stuff and some quick game stuff. I think that's what we're gonna see the most of. Just obviously a lot of running the football. AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones, they're going to have to carry the rock like they did last week, which they were phenomenal and pretty much won us the game. But is Love going to be able to just do some of the stuff that Rodgers was able to do? Just I think he really can. I think we have a really good shot, and he can sling it. He's got an arm, bro. He can just target Daniel Sorensen all game, and things might work out well. He's probably going to have Devontae back. MVS should be playing on Sunday, and Randall Cobb, he's got a loaded array of targets that he can throw to. So I think this game might be a lot better than maybe you expect.
Well, to me, like, okay, like you mentioned, he's been sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for a year and a half now, and I'm tired of like everybody giving him a break. Like, it's time for him to, like, now he's gonna play. He should play well. He should come in and play well. He's a first round pick. No more of this, letting him develop. Like, okay, we've just had him sitting now. Like, the way they crucify young quarterbacks today, when they plugged right in and they play like a few games, like, most of these quarterbacks get babied. Like, Jordan Love has been babied, and he didn't play well enough to go right to Jordan Love. Like, he didn't play well enough in the preseason to say like he's the next big thing. He certainly didn't do that, and that was a year after sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. I don't know how much more he's improved in the last like 8 weeks or whatever, but he's got to play well. He's got to play really well because it's time for him to go. Like, this is his time to play or don't. Play well or don't. This is it. Like, I'm tired of this like idea that if he doesn't play well, that just like I can't do this anymore. Like, Aaron Rodgers is my quarterback. Give me a reason to move on from him by being as good as he was showing at this time or better. Look, the race to get up to the speed of the NFL as a quarterback is way faster than it ever was before. They don't sit like Rodgers did anymore, and he's already sat a year and a half, which is longer than most guys have in this league. This is his first NFL start. It's time to go. Like, I'm not in the mood to like see him play bad and then have the organization make excuses for him. Like, now he'll know he's the starter. He's coming into the game. Be ready, play well, or like, I'm ready to move on after this year. If he doesn't show up in this game, I'm ready to move on. Just like, we can't be playing these games. Just keep Rodgers around. Like, I'm not going to sit here and move on from Aaron Rodgers to a guy who didn't play well after a year and a half of sitting behind the best quarterback of all time. I'm just not in the mood for it.
It's so complicated looking after this season, which I mean, it's literally week 9, bro. Like, we can't be doing this. But after this season, we're gonna have no money. Lots of guys are gonna be leaving. Would we rather be stuck with Jordan Love and have to do a multi-year rebuild while he's going into year 3, or would we rather have Aaron Rodgers, who's gonna elevate whoever's on the roster? I mean, it's such a tough situation that we're in right now. It's like, I don't care, man. We just got to win a Super Bowl this year. And if it means that Jordan Love needs to play well in this game, then I hope to God that he plays well. And I hope to God he's the quarterback of the future. Honestly, I do. I don't I'm Hopefully we get the maximum number of years out of Rodgers as we can and win another Super Bowl at least. But I hope Jordan Love is the quarterback of the future. That would be incredible for the future of the Green Bay Packers. And I really hope that he plays well this game because I'm going to be rooting for him. That's for sure.
We're all rooting for him, but the problem is the timelines just don't add up, Griffin. I said this when we drafted him, and I'll continue to say it. He cannot be the quarterback of the future with Aaron Rodgers still under center because how old is he? He's turning 38 in December. Tom Brady's 44. Rodgers is showing no signs of slowing down in terms of arm talent. He's still moving around. You said it a couple weeks ago. He's looking faster than ever. His legs are built back up from when he got those injuries. He looks like a different player. He's so much more physically fit. He's in a great space. He just won MVP. He could play for 6 years more. He could play for 10 years more if he really, really wanted to, I'm sure. I mean, like, this doesn't add up. How can he be the quarterback of the future? To me, you keep Aaron around for as long as he can and wants to play. He almost retire? Yes, but that was because mostly it had to do with the situation that the front office put him in, where he was like, "Do I want to be a part of like this organization and play football like when I have literally no say in anything?" And that's changed for the most part so far. He seems like he's in a better place, like in that regard, like with the front office, which is what he really wanted, and that's why he came back. And those things that have been promised to him seems like they're starting to come to fruition. How does Jordan Love? How is he the future? If we're going to maximize Rodgers, it doesn't add up. We can't sit Jordan Love for the next 7 years. I mean, like, this is just like, we should have done this. They made a mistake in hindsight. They made a mistake, but now it's proven to be at least valuable in the sense that we need a backup quarterback to play well for this game, and we have a first round pick sitting on the bench, and I am rooting for him to win this game for us. Do whatever it takes to at least put a W on the board. Hopefully, really, really, really hoping Rodgers is back for Seattle. We can move on. And I'm not saying if Love plays well, time to move on from Rodgers either. I still think Rodgers should be the guy. We just needed a quality backup quarterback. To me, we haven't had that since Matt Flynn. We've got that now. Hopefully, we're hoping, obviously, and this is the chance for him to show that at the very least.
I think the front office is honestly pretty thankful that they're getting this look at him. They're lucky that they're going to get this look at him because otherwise they really never would have, other than practice reps with the scout team. And we made a whole video about it, the 10-minute video that we made in May about Rodgers' situation over the summer. And it all comes down to the fact that Gutekunst, he drafted Jordan Love thinking that Rodgers was on the decline, which he's not. He's not crazy for thinking that. He was declining in 2018 and 2019. Should he have drafted a quarterback in the low 20s? Probably not. Should he have drafted Jordan Love in the first round? Maybe not. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, he should, at this point, realize that maybe he made a mistake and maybe be thinking about moving off of him in the favor of keeping Rodgers long term. And maybe he is. We don't really know. But I think this game is honestly going to have a big is going to matter a lot in terms of that decision. If Love stinks it up, maybe he does say we're going to roll with Rodgers. But if Love looks good, if he's mastering the LaFleur offense, if he looks like the ultimate game manager, like a premium Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco for Kyle Shanahan, then maybe they decide that he is everything they wanted and he's the quarterback that Matt LaFleur wants to mold. Maybe that's the case. I don't know, man. And I hate talking about this. This is off-season talk, man. Rodgers, just get vaccinated, bro. God, why did
A
this
little
have to
late for
happen?
that. It's a little late
Yeah,
for that.
I
I mean,
know.
he's
I
not going to
know.
get it
I'm
three
saying
times.
oh my god! I mean, at least this happened not in a playoff game. Imagine divisional weekend. We're coming off
Oh
the bye
my
week, and Jordan
gosh.
Love has to start.
Oh my gosh. Imagine that we didn't find out and all of a sudden we're in the Super Bowl and Rodgers gets it and we can't, I mean, like,
Oh,
postpone it.
dude, would they
Like,
delay the Super Bowl? I feel like they would have to, man. I feel like they would have to just for financial reasons. Because who wants to watch the Jordan Love Bowl? Me, I do. I would love to see that.
oh my
That would be
gosh.
very interesting.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
This is such a nightmare. I hate this. Oh my goodness.
it is. I'm excited though. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm really thrilled
Are
our
you? Are
quarterback is down.
I
Great.
mean, obviously, I'm not thrilled, but
I know. Are
I'm
you see?
excited to watch Jordan Love. I am.
No, I'm really not. I'd prefer to never see him play. Honestly, hate to break it to you, but that guy should never step on the football field for Green Bay. And now we know why he is because Rodgers is
Come
down. That's
on,
never
man.
good. Yeah. Is it a
Yeah, but
positive? Is it a positive that we get to see him? Yes, but I'm certainly not happy with this outcome. I'm definitely not
yeah,
happy with the
definitely
way
not.
this went
But
out. I mean, gosh, this
hey,
is
man, it is
ridiculous.
what it is, man. Our quarterback is he believes in alternative medicine. This is what we get, man. It is what it is. Right now, Jordan Love is starting on Sunday, and I will watch, and I will be very interested in how he performs, and I hope he performs well, because being 8-1 is much better than 7-2 in a very tight NFC. And like the Bucks lost last week, our whole division sucks. It's if we can come out of here with a win, we're still in a good spot. We assume we're going to get Rodgers back. Hopefully against Seattle. I mean, I guess we can't assume that, but hopefully he's going to be coming back. This is just a one game thing. That'll be very well if Jordan Love can step in and have a Matt Flynn Week 17 2011 performance.
You know what's going to happen. It's going to be this. It's either going to be Jordan Love comes in, throws like 190 yards, one touchdown, no picks, and Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon have like a couple rushing touchdowns each or something like crazy. And then everybody starts crowning Jordan Love as the next guy. Or Jordan Love plays like decent and then they lose and then I don't know what like then it's like another thing where it's like, well, they lost, but he played okay. It's like I just it's not going to be this clear-cut thing where like we know, oh, he's the next guy or oh, he's not the next guy. Like he just isn't he's not a quarterback for us like for the future when we have Aaron for the next several years if he wants. Like it's not going to be this cut and dry thing. I know it. And hopefully we win. But I also don't want to see like if we win and Jordan Love doesn't play well, like I don't want to see people just like giving him all this credit. Like I'm an Aaron Rodgers defender, like we all know, but like and I want him to stay as the quarterback for as long as he can. But like at the same time, like I also I would like to see Love win this game for us, but I don't want this like narrative to start spinning out about him being the next guy if we win this game. Like I don't care really. I don't care what happens. Like I'm not ready to have this happen mid-season and then Rodgers feels like he's on the hot seat almost. Like this there's no like positive thing that can come from this game if we win or if we lose. Like there's no like it's not going to end well in it's not going to end all everybody's happy. Like that's I don't know. That's pretty much all I'm saying, I guess.
Right. And it's I mean, let's be honest, man. We're both going to be irritated as hell if Love plays well and our entire Twitter and Instagram timeline is about how Jordan Love is the future. That's what it's going to be. And as Rodgers defenders, as we've been critical of this decision to draft Jordan Love for almost 2 years now, it's going to annoy us. But it is what it is, man. If he's good, then he's good, and as a Packer fan, I'm happy about that. But obviously as a Rodgers defender, I mean, I don't know about this week, man. It's been tough, but fundamentally, as an Aaron Rodgers fan and an Aaron Rodgers defender, it's gonna hurt if Jordan Love comes in and plays well, and we're proved wrong. And it's gonna be the fact is that nothing. This game isn't gonna prove anything. It's not gonna prove that Jordan Love is the future. And if he plays poorly, it's not gonna be Jordan Love sucks and he'll never be anything in the NFL. Because it's still one game and it's his first game as a starter. And even if he plays out of his mind, great. It's still we've seen quarterbacks do that before. We need to see it over more games than just one. It's too small of a sample size. So, but the media is not going to treat it that way. And so whatever it is, it's going to be. And I predict that Jordan Love is going to look good in this game because I think Matt LaFleur is a good enough coach to get him ready and have him perform. Well enough and give him easy enough throws with a good enough receiving talent against a bad enough defense that I think he's going to come out of this game looking good. So I think the initial reaction is going to be how Jordan Love is the future. And me and you both are going to be very annoyed by that. And obviously I want him to play well. Obviously I want him to win. So I'll be happy that he does look good, but it's still going to be annoying that that we weren't wrong, but people are treating it like we were wrong. It's so complicated, and we still have to wait. And all the people who say you have to wait 3 years before you can judge a draft pick, they're going to throw that out the window if he looks good, because it's going to be all hail Jordan Love, and he's the king, and he's the future of football, and we would throw Rodgers to the curb, or we should rather. It's going to be all the overreaction is going to be it's going to be too much, man. Maybe I'm not excited for this game. I don't know.
Well, first of all, that's what I was saying before. If Jordan Love looks great in this game or decent or like makes nice throws, like he's the next guy. He's crowned the future. He's the future of the Packers, right? But if he plays bad, oh, it's his first start. Give him a break. Oh, it's against the Chiefs. They're really good. Mahomes, how is like it's gonna be this baby garbage that he gets and he's gotten since he was drafted because we have to let him develop and it's time. You know what I mean? I'm just sick of this. Like he's not gonna. Nobody's gonna say, "Oh, time to move on." If he plays bad, it's gonna be, "Oh, he's a rookie." Like even though he's not a rookie and he's been in the league now for this is his second year and he sat behind the greatest quarterback in history in the room with Rodgers for a full year and a half. I mean, like this is what's going to happen and that's what sucks. And that's why it sucks. And if he plays great and we win, that'll be fun for what we have when Rodgers comes back, but then the future is complicated because I know Brian is going to just ship Rodgers out if Love looks halfway decent.
The best thing about all of this is that in 2 weeks, this won't matter. And this podcast will look back on it as a giant waste of time because this is all offseason stuff. And the fact of the matter is right now that the Packers are 7-1, and there's a good chance they could move to 8-1. Obviously, it's not as those chances are not as high as they were a day ago, but it's still a good chance that we were the number one seed in the NFC. We didn't even talk about this. We just beat the 7-0 Cardinals. This team is so good. It's probably the best team that LaFleur's had in his tenure. There's a really good chance that we could still beat the Chiefs with a backup quarterback because we have enough talent around him. We still have the best receiver in football. Hopefully, he'll be playing. And we still have a great running game, and we have a really good defense, apparently. The Chiefs' offense does not look like how they did. It looks like, honestly, reminds me of the 2015 Packers offense. And it's just, there's just still a good chance that we can win this game. And then hopefully Rodgers comes back for the Seattle game. And he's an anti-vaxxer, but and forget about it. Separate the art from the artist with that one. And we'll be rooting for Aaron just like we did last week. And it'll be all back to normal. Hopefully, even 7-2, we're still in a good spot. Maybe the Cardinals can catch another loss, and these other teams, it's still early in the season. So this podcast, I'm not saying it's a waste of time, but as of right now, it was a waste of time. And we'll get back to this in the offseason. How's that?
Well, it's all significant and it all sucks. I hate that we have to sit through every year wondering if it's Rodgers last since they drafted this quarterback. Like I'm so sick of this, but whatever, it's the nature of it. Let's just talk about this game then because we've got that quarterback's the draft pick. He's now starting for us in Kansas City, the worst environment maybe in the league to play your first game in professionally. I mean, here we go now. So he's kind of thrown into the fire, but the fire isn't as hot as you might think because the Kansas City defense has played like garbage all year. If you can't tell, I'm pretty annoyed about this entire situation. So, yeah, pretty annoyed. But, this is a good game for Jordan Love to kind of start up. And apart from the fact that it's in that noisy Kansas City stadium, the defense is not great. Most of the offense will be back. This is a good chance for Jordan Love to show something.
It is. This is a good shot for him. I think it's going to look a lot similar. Like I said, it's going to look a lot like it did on Thursday night when we had no receivers. We have no receivers one week. Now we have no no quarterback who's never played a game before. Rodgers, what did he throw? Like 3 passes over 10 yards, something like that. He did not push the ball down the field at all. He was a pure game manager, and he's obviously one of the best quarterbacks in league history. He's going to be one of the best game managers in league history as well. So Jordan Love, we can't expect him to produce as well as Aaron did. And Aaron didn't even play that well, but still, we can't expect him to play at that level. So it's going to be a little bit more reliant on the ground game, I assume, because the Kansas City defense is not good up front, even. And so I think that Dillon and Jones, they're going to have a solid game. Bakhtiari! I totally forgot about Bakhtiari. He should be back, right? He should totally be back. Is he practicing? He is
He may
practicing,
be
yes.
back. He might be back. He might be back. I
Hopefully he's
would
back,
not call
man.
it a guarantee. They really are not going to push him out there. Especially, I mean,
Yeah,
look,
that's
I'd
true.
love to see him back. I really hope he's back. There's a decent chance he's back. But we'll see though. I mean, it's either this week or next week. Definitely, he won't. Yeah, it's this or next week, and that's it. He'll be back though. But yeah, I'd love to see him back this week. That'd be a great start for Jordan Love to have the offensive line back together. Would be really a nice boon to everything. That would work. That would work well in our favor, I would say.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, and he's gonna have time in the pocket if LaFleur wants to push the ball downfield a little bit, take some deep shots to MVS. He's got Devontae Adams, man, and this is gonna be a good look. Obviously, Devontae Adams played out of his mind with Brett Hundley, which no other receiver on the Packers was able to do, and so that's kind of how we know that he's an elite receiver, not just a product of Rodgers, which a lot of Cardinals fans, DeAndre Hopkins fans will accuse him of being. We know that he's not because we watched the 2017 season. This is going to be another chance of that. He's going to prove our point that Devontae is the best receiver in football and makes a quarterback's job easier. And Jordan Love, he's probably going to be looking at him a lot. LaFleur said today that Jordan Love pretty much only plays on the scout team. So I don't know how many reps he's actually gotten with Devontae Adams because Devontae wasn't there during OTAs over the summer either. And Devontae only showed up, I'm pretty sure, for training camp when Aaron was already there. So I don't think Jordan Love got a lot of snaps with Devontae. That's going to be nice for him, having a all-pro receiver, Hall of Fame receiver on his left side. That's going to be pretty nice. And I think LaFleur is going to ID him in ways that makes Love's job very easy, and hopefully he can just manage the game and rely on the ground game, rely on Devontae Adams, maybe try a shot or two to MVS because the Chiefs cannot defend the deep ball at all this season through 8 weeks. They've not been able to. I think this is going to be a productive day on offense, and will probably ignite some overreactions about Jordan Love.
I'm actually really excited to see our defense go up against this Chiefs team because every time we think, oh, this is the week that they're going to get exploited, like they just keep showing out and playing so well. Devondre Campbell leads the way in every way on this defense. I mean, like we talk about every week, you can't say enough about how great he has been controlling everything for us and making our defense better just with his presence and his consistency. And the edge rushers, Preston's back healthy. We've got Gary, and Merciless has been looking great. We haven't even mentioned how great he's been in his limited snaps, and he's kind of getting more in there as well, getting more plays involved. we didn't talk about other things that went down, but it's been a busy week. The trade deadline day, nothing happened apart from we changed long snappers and we subtracted somebody by cutting Jalen Smith, who really was not given a chance to diagnose the playbook and really learn everything and get on the field. And even when he was on the field, to me, in my opinion, he was better than Oren Burks and even Chris Barnes at times. But instead, he's released, which is fun. Love it. Another great move. And now we are sitting with Barnes and Oren Burks as the other guys. And Burks, to me, is pretty bad. Barnes can be good at times, but Burks is really, really bad. I hate to see him on the field on defense, but here we are. And yeah, so we're kind of stuck. Hopefully, we get Ja back and hopefully we get Z back at some point soon. But other than that, we have some holes, and it starts at tight end with the loss of Tunyon. It starts at middle linebacker. Could have used a couple more pieces in those spots. Hopefully, we can add something at some point, but those were some of the pieces of news. Jalen Smith got cut. To me, I hated that. I just hated that move to release him. But um, yeah, so that's where we're at now, and we have to kind of just move on with what we've got in the middle, and hopefully this defense can show up like it has these past few weeks. I love what we're doing on defense this year, and this is another big test because Tyreek Hill could wreck the game. Travis Kelce is going to be a tough cover. Um, let's go do it, man. We've got the pass rush to be able to kind of neutralize Mahomes a little bit, and that great offensive line that they have. But the weapon Hill and Kelsey, those are going to be tough to stop. So I'm excited for that challenge for the defense.
The defense, they proved me wrong last week. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen watching that game. I was like, "Oh my god, they're playing well and they're getting off the field consistently." Sans that one play to DeAndre Hopkins on Eric Stokes. Don't know what he was doing there. Great move by Hopkins. But everything else was like, "Oh my god, this is incredible." Starts with Devondre Campbell, who is, like you said, we talk about him every single week. He's played out of his mind. And I've been thinking that really is like the middle linebacker position. Everyone always says it's the quarterback position on defense, and it really is, man, because it's so hard of a position to play. There are so few good middle linebackers, just like there are so few good quarterbacks, and it's the hardest position in sports probably. And but when you find an elite middle linebacker, it's your entire defense just looks so much better. He elevates everyone else on the field because he's able to just man the middle of the field. I'm sure he's a great leader on the back end, actually on the field and telling everyone what to do. He's just plugging everything up. He's so good in the run game. We saw him sack Kyler Murray. He's so big and he's so quick and he moves so well and it's like everything is okay, whereas in years past it's been complete chaos in the middle of the field with Blake Martinez or Oren Burks or even Christian Kirksey last year and Chris Barnes and Kamal Martin. It's like if you don't feel like anyone knows what they're doing there. Maybe that has to do with Mike Pettin, but I think Devondre Campbell has made a big difference to this defense. And Rasul Douglas, where the hell did this guy come from, bro? How is he not starting for a team? He was on Arizona's practice squad. Are you kidding me? He's been so good. He had a patent. Obviously, he had the game-winning interception, but he had a pass breakup too. He's just so sticky on every single snap. Against Washington, we really didn't get to see him all that much, or against Chicago. But this game, he was starting with no Kevin King, no Jair, obviously, and he played so well against a really good offense. And I don't know, maybe we just have a good defense because I've been saying all year that this defense looks good, but against good quarterbacks, I don't know how good they're going to look. And I did not think that they'd play well against Arizona, but they did, and they proved me wrong. And I'm very happy about that because good defenses are not something we're used to as Green Bay Packer fans, as you know, bro.
Well, another thing is like Dean Lowry is all of a sudden playing like really good football. Like Rashawn Gary he's turning into this monster. Preston Smith has bounced back. Devondre Campbell has transversed everything we've ever had in the middle of the field. Obviously, Amos is still playing really well. Savage is, he's doing his thing. And then Stokes had that bad game last week, but other than that, he's been really good for us as a rookie. Douglas came in and revitalized things. And then just all that combined has been enough to keep us afloat and hold teams to very significant, small point margins. And it's been really good. Like the defense they just haven't allowed points. And a lot of that has to do with the offense, controlling the time of possession. Special teams has put us in better spots. It's all marrying together and everything's working for us. So there's certainly a level of like where you feel confident. I think Shannon Sullivan has been playing some of his best ball in Green Bay as well. Like these guys are just all kind of takes all 11. Matt LaFleur says it all the time, and all these guys are just playing good football together, and the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So, just super proud of this defense and the guys, the individual guys who are kind of gluing together with all 11 and just making something better than themselves. So, super, super excited for what this defense could potentially do against the Chiefs.
And this is probably the worst the defense is going to be, considering the health of everybody, because Jair comes back, presumably. He's going to push Eric Stokes down the depth chart. He's going to push Kevin King down the depth chart. He's going to push Rasul Douglas down the depth chart. That's better for everybody. Eric Stokes is no longer covering DeAndre Hopkins or whoever it may be. Z turns out he might be back a lot sooner than we anticipated. We kind of assumed, maybe not assumed, but we thought there was a good chance that he was out for the year, but he's back at practice, dressing, not in pads, not practicing, but he's there. He's in Green Bay, which is a nice development. He might come back. Him and Preston back together on the edge. Rashawn Gary playing so well. Kenny Clark in the middle. Dean Lowry is playing very well this season, which is an interesting development. Didn't think that would happen. That's very nice. It's like all of a sudden, this defense looks really good. The red zone is still really bad. Looked good against Washington, mostly because of drops and turnovers. But Thursday, it kind of resumed to where we expected them to be. The red zone defense, it was really bad. But the Chiefs are very bad in the red zone as well on offense. So that's a good yin and yang there. Hopefully that can turn out in our favor. And I'm very excited for what they're going to be able to do against such good weapons, because they look very good against Arizona's weapons. So let's see how they fare against Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey and Mecole Hardman. And I think that's kind of it for KC. They're not that good as they once were, but it's going to be another big test for them. A lot of speed on that team. It's going to be another big test for Joe Barry. He's probably going to be coming back calling plays again. It's going to be I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the defense.
Let's win this game, move on, get Rodgers back, do this thing with Seattle, and just forget it all happened. Like, I'm just so ready. We've been here one day, not even a full day of this Rodgers situation with the COVID. I'm just so ready to go play, move on, get him back in the building. I don't care if he only has to practice one day on a Saturday, if it's only a walkthrough. Throw the football at home, Aaron. Let's go. Get back here and play on Sunday. Like, let's do this thing. Seattle, let's go. Like, I'm just so ready to go and do this thing. Move on. Win. Starts with a win, though. We got to get this win, because if we don't win this game, it's going to be a big problem. Like, not just because, it's an AFC game. It won't matter as much as if we were to lose to like the Vikings or something, but like we have to win every game. I'll say it again. Let me just go. I might as well just look at Dallas's schedule here, because I'm going to make everybody realize how hard it's going to be to get the number 1 seed this year. So let's see. Cowboys, first off, this week they've got Denver, who's reeling and trading their best players, and then they've got Atlanta, who's a wild card. They play Kansas City, who's been 3-4 this year. Oakland, decent. New Orleans, they don't have a quarterback right now. Then they play Washington, the Giants, Washington. Arizona will be tough, and then the Eagles, who are one of the worst teams in football. So that you put that all together, they could literally win 14 games this year. In Green Bay, they've got a tougher schedule. But, they have to play Cleveland at one point. They've got to play Minnesota twice. They've got to play the Chiefs, the Seahawks, the Ravens, the Rams. They've got to play tough teams, and Green Bay is probably going to get to 14 if they're lucky, and they don't lose games like they should win against Kansas City and Seattle, which could happen, and then they all of a sudden are sitting somewhere like around 11-6 or something, like if they really get into trouble. They can't let this derail them, and it's time to win, and we have to do it now for the sake of this team, for the sake of the future, for the sake of our Super Bowl chances. It has to come down here. Griff, give me your prediction.
I mean, real quick, yeah, I agree with everything you just said, because after week 1, it was like I the thought of having the 1 seed for a second year in a row kind of just slipped my mind. I wasn't really thinking about it that much, really wasn't hoping for it that much. And now all of a sudden we beat the Cardinals, we're 7-1, and as of right now we are the number 1 seed, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this is incredible. There's a really good chance that we're going to actually end up with the number 1 seed." It's the team looks so good. It looks like we're actually elite amongst the NFC teams, amongst the NFL teams. This is nice. And then something like this happens, and we know how hard the schedule is already, and something like this happens against KC and Seattle, and those are the teams that in my head I've kind of counted as the easier games coming up in our schedule, and they're not so easy now without Rodgers playing. and like the Cowboys schedule and the Bucks, they don't have that tough of a schedule either. It's so important that we're going to be able to win these games because we don't want to be playing road games in January. That's what we don't want, man. We do not want to be doing that, especially if it's all because we come up a loss short of Dallas, or one loss, or one loss more than Dallas, or one loss more than Tampa Bay, or something like that because of how this game turns out on Sunday. Luckily, all that I don't think that's going to happen. I think we do win this Sunday. I think it's going to be a hard fought victory down to the wire, just like it was on Thursday against the Cardinals. We've done that a lot this season. I think it's going to be maybe not the Jordan Love game, but I think he's going to play very well. And I think he's going to throw a couple touchdowns and, maybe 200 yards, good completion percentage, because I think he's just going to be asked to be a game manager. And Matt LaFleur is such a good coach. I think this is such a good game for him to really put himself as the coach of the year in most people's minds, if he's not already. And I think that means that this offense is going to play very well with Jones and Dillon, obviously, and Bakhtiari coming back, and MVS and Devontae. We just have so much talent on offense that I think it's not going to be too tough for Jordan Love to play well. And the defense, we just talked about them. They're going to play very well against this very struggling Kansas City Chiefs offense. So I think this game turns out well. I'm going to go with 27 to I don't know, 21. Score predictions are so stupid. No offense, Ron. X Factor. I'll give you an X Factor too, just for you. I'm going to go with MVS for the fourth week in a row because he's actually probably going to play on Sunday.
I've been saying MVS for weeks. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I know you
he'll
have.
probably and watch. He won't suit up now, of course. But okay, well, yeah, I would have said MVS if Rodgers was playing, but um, first of all, I'm going 19-17. I think this is a defensive battle. We have to win on defense. I don't expect anything special from Jordan Love, and this is a game where like I feel like Rodgers needs to be special to win, and now that he's not playing, it's like okay, we have to run the ball a lot. It's gonna be slow paced game. I feel like defense is gonna be supreme. It'll feel like a big game. A lot of pressure on Jordan Love, lot of pressure on the Chiefs because if they lose a fifth game, it's starting to get like, how are you going to make the playoffs with 5 losses at week 9? So those are the kind of things I think it's going to make everybody have a little bit of the jitters, maybe some miscommunication on offense from Green Bay because Rodgers can't control everything. I think one thing is we'll get to see LaFleur what his game really looks like from a play calling standpoint because Rodgers takes care of many of the mistakes that LaFleur could make by adjusting things or picking the right, whether it's an action or if it's a check with me, like all these different things. Like Rodgers makes those decisions on his own, and he takes care a lot of the pass protection and makes those adjustments, those audibles, based on the multiple play calls LaFleur can give him at a time. Jordan's not going to be able to handle that in his first start. It's going to be LaFleur gives him something, and Jordan's just going to do it, I'm sure. That's probably what it's going to be like. So we're going to get to see a full LaFleur play called game, and we'll see how that turns out too. So there's a lot of different unique things about this game. I'm going 1917. I have to go with, in terms of an X factor, I'm going to go with the coverage of Travis Kelce because I think Devondre is going to get some of that action, and that is a really, really sweet matchup. But it's going to be tough. Amos is going to get a lot of that too. So it's those two guys really that are going to have to try to cover him, and I'm excited for that matchup in particular.
They'll probably trust Eric Stokes' speed with Tyreek Hill. So if they're going to double anybody, it'd probably be Travis Kelce. That seems to give them the Chiefs the most fits. But that's why I'm excited for this game, man. For everything you just said about Matt LaFleur, because we get to see Matt LaFleur without Rodgers. Everyone always anytime he's the most wins by any head coach since the merger or in the Super Bowl era, at 40 games. He's only lost 7 games in the regular season in his career, which is the most by any quarterback since the Super Bowl was invented. And everyone's it's because of Rodgers. It's like, there's no point in even arguing against it because you're never going to convince these people that it's not because of Rodgers, and Rodgers was a completely different player when LaFleur took over. But this is the game where that can actually change. And if he can get a win with Jordan Love and just call his own plays and everything, he's not gonna be giving Love the RPOs and all the stuff that he lets Rodgers do. And Rodgers does so much of it, like you said, on his own at the line of scrimmage. He's not gonna be giving Jordan Love that. It's gonna be dragon, the slant flat concept, and it's going to be handoff here and duo and inside zone, and then we're going to go with the big play action rollout. It's going to be like playing Madden pretty much for Matt LaFleur. Just give him a play and send him out there, and they're probably going to do it. I don't know how much confidence he has in Love making checks at the line of scrimmage like he does with Rodgers, obviously. So I think it's going to be just a real Matt LaFleur game plan, and I think he's going to make this a really easy job for Jordan Love. He's going to point to whatever number Daniel Sorensen is and says, throw at him deep. If you have a guy matched up with him deep, throw at him, because it's either going to be a pass interference call on Sorensen or it's going to be a deep touchdown. So throw at him. Anything else, just give it to Jones, give it to Dylan, and let him handle it. And I think it's going to fare well, man. I really do.
Yeah, we won't be seeing these run alerts, and like we're not going to be seeing Jordan Love making decisions at the line of scrimmage. Like it may be some, maybe a few. Like he'll get the chance to adjust to a run play. Like he'll have that kind of stuff in his back pocket, I think. But there will not be multiple play calls being spit out to him where Rodgers always gets to decide which one, or a run alert where Rodgers gets to choose whether to hand the ball off. RPOs, they're called by many. Um, those are the kind of things like we're just not going to see it. um, it'll be design play action. It'll be design runs, design passes. I'm interested to see how it goes, obviously, but I'm not interested in losing this game. So let's win it.
I think we will, and that's going to do it for today's episode. We talked about going short this episode, but we ended up right around where we usually are, even though we didn't go in depth on the Cardinals game like we usually do. We couldn't record these past couple days, and thankfully, because it would have all been completely outdated, just like last week when we talked about Alan Lazard being the biggest key in the Cardinals game, and then the day we publish it, Alan Lazard is out with COVID. It would have been even worse this week because we talk about beating the Chiefs, Rodgers, Mahomes, and then the next day, Rodgers is out with COVID. So honestly, it's a blessing in disguise that we didn't get to record until today. But and we just, no notes today for either of us. We just kind of went on with it, and it was a fun podcast. I'd say we got a lot of talking done, and I didn't think that was going to happen. But thank you for joining me, Bron. Thank you so much for listening. If you're still listening up to this point, we'll be back next Tuesday with another podcast discussing the Chiefs game and previewing the Seattle Seahawks. Hopefully, with number 12 back under center. If you liked what you heard, please consider subscribing on iTunes or Spotify or YouTube or wherever you're listening to this. Google Podcasts, we're there too. Leave a like, leave a review, send us a DM on Instagram at Today in Titletown or on Twitter at Today Titletown. No in on Twitter, just Today Titletown. Follow me on Instagram at All Day Packers. Follow Bron on Instagram at Lambo.Leapers. And thank you so much for listening. Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go, everybody. Thanks for listening.